In today's live stream video, we're going to discuss some news and events that are affecting e-commerce sales, as well as talk about other reselling topics. When I have a live stream, I usually interview another reseller and I have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to help make us more profitable and successful resellers. If you're interested in reselling, then you are in the right place. It's going to pop into the chat and say a little few people. It is Saturday, so people might be out yard selling and estate sales, etc. But I know earlier Mike Flipping Goodies was in the chat. We also have Scott in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Scott. I appreciate it, my friend. Okay, guys. So like I said, I have a couple of different articles that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to bring Randy in. Randy is my guest. Those of you that know the channel and watch the channel know Randy. Randy is a friend of mine, a colleague, and he's been a reseller, business owner, can plug my channel, an entrepreneur for many years. So let's bring Randy on, and then we shall get started. Hello, sir.
Hi there.
Hi there. That's it.
Oh, hey, I saw something today. I thought was rather curious. I was at Costco and I saw why they sell plant-based sugar. And
Yes.
I thought that's quite odd because sugar comes from a plant. It comes from sugar cane.
Right.
So all real sugar is plant-based.
Absolutely. But I guess obviously they're trying to promote it as more healthy.
Yeah, but toadstools are plant-based too. They're not very healthy.
Okay. All right. On that, after Randy got us started on such a high note, no pun intended, with the mushrooms, we shall get started. Okay, guys. Like I said, I'm just going to go through a couple articles related to reselling. I have a video, a little update on the UPS possible strike. I'll have Randy comment on that, and then we'll open up the chat if you guys have anything you want to talk about, such as the summer slowdown, what you're doing, etc. We'll just do that. So let me get into my first article. First article is I subscribe to several different e-commerce newsletters. And it's one of the articles I had pulled up. And the title of this article is eBay links directly to rival listings and sellers' photos. Sellers reported that eBay was linking to other sellers' listings in a new area of their listings page in their photos section. It's a similar tactic to one rolled out recently by Etsy that proved deeply unpopular by sellers. Seller reported the practice wrote, eBay seems to be doing everything they can to direct buyers away from our listings to other sellers. Now they have inserted a find similar items link directly in our photo frame. At the moment, I only see it on my desktop. Sellers discussed the new link on the eBay discussion boards, including a thread titled New Find Similar Items on Listings, where a seller wrote, now I think eBay has gone too far. Today I see that on a listing, any listing I checked, not just mine, next to the hover to zoom on the picture frame is a find similar items. Is it not enough that they advertise other items before you scroll down to the listing you clicked on to look at it? I know that you can do what you want, they can do what they want, but I do not agree with this latest tactic. No, I'm not leaving, but it does get very frustrating. So, Randy, you and I had discussed that, before the show, pre-chat. What's your opinion on something that eBay is doing these types of things?
I guess you got to look at, are they showing your listings on other people's?
That's fair.
Because from what I understood at one time, you could opt out of that if you did not enable it to show your listings. I don't know if that's true anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen that option available. So you said in the past you could opt out of that?
Right. I don't know if it's available anymore either.
Yeah, Scott, I'll share Scott's comment, and I don't want to get in, too deep into all the articles and things. I want to, leave this more like a Q&A type of thing. But I do have a few articles. But that was one of the articles I had read, Scott, when I was researching articles. Talks about the various corporate raiders, so to speak, and I was telling a friend of mine, and most of you are probably already familiar with this because everyone in the chat at this point are all experienced resellers. But you know that basically eBay was large majority of the stock was purchased by corporate raiders, and they were having them sell off assets. Is that's basically what corporate raiders do. And one of the things they had them sell off was Ticketmaster and also PayPal. So Ticketmaster, that was a huge boondoggle. I mean, I don't understand why they made them do that. I guess because they felt it wasn't in their niche, so to speak. But that was a cash cow. So I guess they figured they could get some money and pump up their ledger, so to speak, and make them more profitable. But yeah, eBay is unfortunately doing some things that sellers don't agree with. So that's pretty much it on that article, guys. So just be aware. I mean, it's a saying, and it comes up sometimes. Although I get the more aggravated I get by little things, but there's the saying, if you can't change it, just roll with the punches, so to speak. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can complain all you want, but eBay's going to do what they want to do anyway. So there's no use getting all worked up over it. I'll give you an analogy. It's kind of like when you get returns. They stink. People, send you a return not as described when it is as described. It just doesn't fit. But then it had to work the system. So unfortunately, returns are part of doing business.
On other sites.
Pardon me?
I said returns are a lot worse on other sites than on eBay.
Yeah, especially Amazon, right?
Especially Walmart.
Walmart returns are getting bad too? Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting a decent amount of returns on Walmart?
Well, you get different kind of returns, like lost after delivery.
Lost after delivery?
Yeah.
Why don't you explain that?
I can't. I
can't either. I can't.
It's just that they claim that they never got it, even though the post office shows it delivered. At least with eBay, if they show it delivered, that's the end of the conversation. But not with Walmart. That's another story. And I saw a story. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I heard that Amazon is going to cut back on free returns.
I think what Mike is referring to is the pay-per-click. So I guess maybe that's why these other sellers' items are showing up on your listings, because they're the pay-to-click type advertising. I'm assuming that's what you mean, Mike. If it's something different, just put it in the chat for us. Yeah, that would make sense. I guess that's what they're doing with their pay-per-click. But we don't have to like it. But like I said, another thing I always used to say back in the day was, it's their ball court and their ball. So if you don't like it, go play somewhere else, because it's their ball and their court. You got to do as they say.
When you live in somebody else's house, you got to follow their rules, whether you like it or not.
That's another good example. Yep, another good analogy. Okay, guys, I just want to bring this up because I know there are a handful of used trading card sellers that watch my channel from time to time. So this is something that came up on one of the reseller forums. No more used trading cards on eBay. They are either graded or ungraded. So there are used trading cards, but they're either category condition is either graded or ungraded. eBay will no longer allow sellers to list used trading cards on eBay. Instead, it will require sellers to indicate if the cards are graded or ungraded, and require them to be specific about who graded the cards, telling them that for graded trading cards, they must add the relevant grader, numerical grade, and a certification number, which is recommended. Sellers will have to describe the condition of ungraded cards. The changes impact all single trading cards in the following categories: sports memorabilia cards and fan shops, sports trading cards, trading card singles, collectibles, non-sport trading cards, trading card singles, toys and hobbies, collectible card games, CCG, individual cards. eBay announced its decision to revamp the system for indicating condition in the trading card category, said it would auto-migrate current listings to the new system this month. So immediately asked on the eBay discussion boards, what happens to existing listings when there is not a one-to-one match? Do they say new used until the seller updates, or do they convert to ungraded? Something else our eBay moderator replied to was as follows: if a seller were to revise their listing via one of the UI tools and opt into the new experience for that listing via the opt-in link, we will move whatever condition grading related items specifics that you can move to the new condition grading structure on draft load. So would I have to move any that could not move for them? If a seller doesn't touch the new listing, nothing happens. It stays in the current state for the time being. We probably will not take any action on existing listings that have not been revised and therefore have not migrated for several months. In response to the seller's question, what's the deadline for sellers making these updates before they run into problems? The moderator replied, for sellers who use our UI clients, the new structure will be required on revision of existing listings in October of 2023. And told sellers stay tuned for more announcements coming in October. So I just want to bring that up. Like I say, I know some of you guys saw trading cards. It was funny. I was looking through my some of my cash piles and things, and when I was doing that, and those of you that know me know I'm from the Philadelphia area, but this is a Paul Pierce trading card from the Boston Celtics. They hated Boston Celtics, but I'd either purchased this or one. Like I think I purchased like a handful of cards. Just trying to help out some reseller friends of mine that were selling cards. So I think I purchased a couple of Allen Iverson cards and one of those Paul Pierce cards. Hi, John. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up for those of you that do sell trading cards. You may or may not have been aware of it. So I thought that was something, just perusing the various e-commerce newsletters. I thought that's something that was interesting. It was a little wordy the way they wrote it, but I wanted to bring it up to your attention in case you were selling trading cards. Okay. This is something that Randy informed me that he had already mentioned this to me offline, and I had forgotten about this. So, unfortunately, it's a little wordy, so just bear with me. I do have a link to this article in the description of the video, but the short version is, and I'll read the article to you, is that there's going to be a new quasi e-commerce website out there. So wanted to bring that to your attention. So again, it's a little wordy, but I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. How the photo-first social app Lemon8, again, it's Lemon8, is redefining social commerce. There's a shift unfolding in the world of social media as the lines between platforms and e-commerce increasingly blend and blur. It's a trend we've all been noticing, even if you haven't realized it yet. Meta, for one, has made several attempts to tap into the realm by integrating shopping features into Instagram, although has recently made the decision to shift its strategy to prioritize other areas of focus. ByteDance, on the other hand, has been experimenting with its own e-commerce strategies, initially dipping its toes into the space by venturing into TikTok commerce. But now it has fully immersed itself, launching an entirely separate app designed with e-commerce at its core, Lemon8. The innovative video and photo-based social media platform intended to share and celebrate food, fashion, health, beauty and travel, among other things, is gaining momentum at a rapid pace. But as popularity surges, exactly how will Lemon8 fuel social commerce? With more than 17 million U.S. users eagerly downloading the app since February, Lemon8 has seen the same sort of sudden rise in popularity that its sister platform, TikTok, experienced for a few years back. While people are drawing comparisons between Lemon8 and Pinterest, Lemon8 is distinct in its own right. Pinterest is geared at providing inspiration, whereas Lemon8 aligns itself more with creator-centered vibes of Instagram and TikTok, capturing that familiar atmosphere that resonates with a broader range of creators. Lemon8 could very well establish itself as the ultimate e-commerce app. Image and video sharing will always be a part of its identity, just as TikTok is not just a social platform, but has become a search platform in its own right. Now, ByteDance is leveraging this insight and wisely embracing Lemon8's dual nature. I want you to think of Lemon8 as a one-stop shop where users, or perhaps we should say consumers, can effortlessly search for products and swiftly click to purchase. This strategic move seamlessly blends the social aspect with effortless shopping, potentially revolutionizing online commerce as we come to know it. When it comes to monetization, and making a splash in the highly competitive social media landscape strategy is critical to success. ByteDance is keeping its options open and exploring innovative approaches to ensure the platform thrives financially. What is clear is that Lemon8 is letting creators add extra information to their posts, so they can tag not only the brand name, but also include product features, links, and show details like price, making it possible to interact with the content in a whole new way. Lemonade has also established a creator affiliate program, giving back money to creators and simultaneously empowering and incentivizing them to create exceptional content. Also allows brands to list their stores on the platform, which could theoretically open up new revenue streams through transaction fees. And who knows, Lemonade might also introduce premium or paid models down the line. So, Randy, you said you were somewhat familiar with this. You had mentioned to me on our offline, and I'd forgotten you had mentioned to me. What do you know? Anything a little bit more about this site, or what do you know about it?
No, just that the government certainly is getting upset.
Because it's TikTok, and TikTok is a Chinese company.
Right. I think it's a bunch of nonsense. I think it has a lot of potential. Everybody is getting into an e-commerce addition to their site.
Yes.
The only problem is there's no support behind it. So therefore, without the support behind it, just like if eBay didn't have support behind it, eBay probably spends a good percentage of their money on support. Good or bad as you think it is, nonetheless, they spend an awful lot of money behind it, and so does Amazon, and so does Walmart. A lot more than Pinterest and Meta. There's virtually no support there, and therefore, if you don't have the support, it's like a three-legged chair with a broken leg. It's you holding it up. Well, without the support, you're only going to hold it up so long before you're going to leave. And that's, I think, where people are with it. I don't think it's going to succeed. Now, with Lemonade, we'll see. I mean, TikTok, started to advertise stores for there, but they had no support for that either. And I don't think that anybody has mentioned that they've been a successful seller on TikTok. If something goes viral on TikTok, it'll sell, but it's not going to sell on TikTok. It's going to sell on Walmart or Amazon or eBay.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to incorporate some kind of selling platform into that. And I'm shocked how popular TikTok is. I mean, it has grown immensely in a really short period of time. Maybe because I'm older and I'm just not into TikTok, but it's like younger people, I would say probably people under 30 are really into TikTok.
Yeah, because they only have a few minutes of attention span.
True. They're on the phones all the time, so that they're going back and forth. But yeah.
That's why they put shorts on YouTube.
Yes.
I had
with TikTok. Yep.
That we did almost 15 years ago, which included a 6-foot person in a plastic bag, skipping down saying, "I got a new toy," because the on it said, "This is not a toy." So anyway, if you ever want to see that one, I'll send it to you.
All right. Maybe we can show one of the live streams. We can pop in to the video.
That in my warehouse. We thought it was funny, but nobody else did.
No one else did. It's like kind of like saying beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? You're going to get a lot more people seeing those because basically you're just clicking through watching one after the other, and after, even though they're only a minute or two long, you find yourself there for hours. So you spend more time on there than you do on other videos.
Social media is a time suck, yeah.
Yeah, and plus the other thing is, the bad thing with a lot of videos on YouTube is that, you have to hear Jimmy's story about his grandmother who had, genital warts before you get to what Jimmy.
You get the ads, and all the weight loss things. Yep. Temu is a big one now. That's on everything.
Yeah, Timu's spending an awful lot of money. And even Timu, not everything on Timu is sold really by Timu. They actually have vendors too.
I was gonna ask. I mean, I didn't know if you were familiar with it, but I assume they had third party vendors, right?
Yeah, mostly in China. I mean, it's
Okay,
not a
they haven't approached you yet about joining, right?
no. They haven't approached anybody in the U.S. They first originally tried to portray it as a U.S. based site
Yes. Yeah.
by having offices in Massachusetts.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
I know occasionally they'll send out emails and things trying to get you to become an affiliate of Temu so you can advertise in your videos or whatever in your description of your videos. I guess you get some kind of small commission, but back.
I think they're sharp. I think they're selling some basic cheap China stuff for really reasonable prices.
Yeah,
Some of the things they're offering aren't really all that bad. I bought a
yeah.
few things on there just to see what it was like, and I, I'm satisfied with them for the amount of money I paid. They're also if they ship you an item and it shows up late, you get a credit for it.
From Temu, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're doing some new changes that even Amazon did not do. So I think they're going to change the scenery, and it's going to make it more difficult for other resellers
Yeah,
too.
it seems like they're making a dent. I mean, like I said, they're spending a lot of money. Yep, they're another e-commerce site. So anyway, guys, I always forget to mention this, so I would mention it during the middle of the stream. If you're getting value from my live stream, please like, share, and comment, and consider subscribing to my channel. As you know, Rainey and I had discussed the pending or possibly pending UPS strike. So I'd like to share a short video from Fox News with you, and we'll just we can discuss it after we do so. Okay.
All right, that is actually a lot of Teamsters players getting ready for what could be a full and nationwide UPS strike to take effect at the end of this month if they don't get what they want. Sean O'Brien is here, the Teamsters General President, to delineate exactly what they want. Sean, very good to have you. Maybe you could spell, where does this stand now, and are you any closer than you were last week?
Thank you, sir, for allowing me to be on the show. We're not any closer. Talks broke down. UPS walked out July 5th at 4:15 a.m. The contract expires July 31st. We had negotiated hard, agreed on a lot of terms and conditions that were beneficial to our members. We're 95% through the process, and all that's left now is economics, and we're focused on the full-time and part-time wages. UPS said they had no more to give to these part-timers especially. And it's embarrassing for a company this size and this successful not to want to reward the people that make them truly a success.
Well, they say they are rewarding the people. We tried to reach a company spokesman. The best we could do, sir, was get a statement from them saying that the Teamsters have stopped negotiating despite historic proposals that build on our industry-leading pay. We're proud of what we put forward in these negotiations, which deliver wins for our people. The Teamsters should return to the table to finalize this deal. So they're essentially saying, you, Sean, you're the problem, not them.
Yeah, it's always easy to blame someone else. We've been pretty transparent through this whole process. And UPS hasn't once got in front of a camera. They keep sending out these press releases, but their story is compelling but highly inaccurate. They know what our members need. They know what we want. We've been stating our intentions for a year now in hopes of trying to reach a deal. So UPS can say what they want, but one thing's sure, our message has been consistent.
All right, for the time being, nothing is affected, right? There's no walkout just yet. All of this occurred on the first day of the 2-day Amazon Prime Day sale, for which a lot of your guys deliver a lot of those goods. What do you tell folks at home who don't understand the details of what you're arguing over, that they might not down the road get their packages or worse?
Well, look, I mean, that's up to UPS, and if UPS doesn't reward our members, then they'd be causing the strike and the work stoppage. But the general public has to understand that through the pandemic, the toughest times, our members, they're UPS men and women who deliver their packages, and the unsung heroes, the part-timers that loaded those packages, were never rewarded. They were never compensated correctly. They went out there and risked their lives. And we hear about all these post-pandemic shortfalls in society. The one positive thing with e-commerce, especially UPS, they've seen 100% growth. They've made $100 billion. Their stockholders have been rewarded by 50%. There's been lucrative stock options given to CEOs, and our members haven't shared in any of those wins. So it's time now, and it's up to UPS whether they want to do the right thing by the employees or not.
Are you worried that conditions over which you don't have control, and for that matter, neither does UPS, as the consumer slows down? We're seeing early signs, not necessarily ominous ones, that consumers are retrenching a bit, and that could be a case of very bad timing for you folks.
Look, it's one thing that's driving e-commerce is, everybody wants instant gratification. They want their packages yesterday, and I'm one of them. But the reality is, one thing UPS is good at. UPS is always good at running their business and capturing volume. Any shortfall in volume is not going to be long term, and once this issue is resolved, I'm certain that it will be business as usual.
So you're not worried about, some people go so far as to say a recession is imminent. Victor doesn't seem in a lot of the data to indicate that, but it would be a kick if, just as you're trying to nail down an agreement, we get more economic news that maybe the company is sensing will reinforce their notion that they can't be as generous because the economy won't be as accommodating.
Well, I think the one thing to point out is that UPS has moved their earnings call twice already, and they've moved it to August 8th, the midterm earnings. So I don't know why they're not releasing their earnings, because maybe they're trying to hopefully get a deal and not release the profits that they've made so far. So, that's something to take into consideration. But like anything else, if there's a recession, it always hurts working people. But at the end of the day, that recession ends at some point in time, and we build back bigger, faster, and stronger.
Got it. All right. Sean O'Brien, thank you. The Teamsters General President, and by the way, we did put out these calls to UPS. They're always welcome to come on and give their side of the story. That statement was the best we could do for the time.
What do you think, sir?
I think O'Brien is a sharp guy, and I think he's actually correct in a lot of what he said. The people who work that no one sees at UPS, they only make $15 an hour, and commensurate pay like Bimbo Bakeries, their starting wage is $26 an hour.
Is that how high they were up by you? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's $11 more an hour, and these people who load those trucks work hard. And
Michelle said her brother's done that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a pleasant job, and for the money that is taken in by UPS, especially since e-commerce, I can see why they don't want to release their figures, because I think if they released their figures earlier during this negotiation, the Teamsters had asked for an awful lot more.
That was the biggest takeaway I got from it. That when the union president said they don't want to release their earnings, they've pushed it back twice already. I'm thinking, yeah, well, that would make sense. They're probably doing very well. They don't want to release those earnings statements.
I'll tell you what, this guy's really calm. When you consider the days that Jimmy Hoffa, he would not have been as easygoing. I can guarantee you that. I mean, I met him when I was a kid. And I remember days when Teamsters went to negotiations with baseball bats.
Crazy.
You didn't mess with the Teamsters, and you still don't today. I think it's about time for UPS to buck up.
Randy's assistant's getting all worked up because he's not paying attention to her. She snuck into the broadcast. Yeah, like I said, that was my biggest takeaway, was that they haven't released their earnings statement. So, I mean, they're obviously doing very well with, like you said, with all the e-commerce explosion. I think a lot of, especially younger people and even older people, got used to ordering online during the pandemic, and they're not to the same extent, but are continuing to do so.
Yeah, everybody pretty much orders online. I mean, it's a whole new economy. And yeah, he was right. These people put their lives on the line during COVID. You know, they didn't let anything down during that time, and I think they justly deserve to be compensated. They're they're underpaid, and you know what? UPS has a difficult time keeping employees. The working conditions are not that great, and I don't really want to say, but there are other companies that people think the working conditions are great at certain places. They're not. Believe me, they're not.
Yeah, we talked about Amazon. I mean, you know, Jeff Bezos is printing money, and like I said, the warehouse, the workers are like really dominated. I mean, like I said, they can barely even take a bathroom break. They're timing them on their bathroom breaks.
Well, one of the things that was not mentioned, and UPS certainly doesn't like to mention this, but they hire a lot of part-time people so they can skirt benefits
Yes,
and
yeah.
higher pay. Amazon does it by the fact of they own an employment agency, and you actually don't work for Amazon; you work for the employment agency.
I discussed that these 7-8 months ago in one of my videos. Yeah, that's what they do. They work around it. Yeah.
They will ask you, say, "Well, it's kind of slow today. Would you like to go home early?" The employee says yes, and if they say yes too many times, they fire them, and they say that that's violating their contract, and therefore they don't need to pay them unemployment. And unless you bring an attorney to the unemployment hearing, and they'll send their attorney to the
Oh yeah.
unemployment hearing, you'll lose even your ability to get unemployment. There are a lot of things that the average person does not know.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I researched, like I said, doing research for the show, and looking at some of these articles, some of these reports, some of these newsletters. Like, wow, that's pretty nasty what they do. And basically, in a nutshell, it's what you said that they're doing.
Yeah, it's amazing how we cry about underage working, yet try to find a customer service person based in the U.S. on any company.
Yeah, I cringe sometimes. I mean, I had to call my prescription plan yesterday, and right away it's like, oh, this is stateside support. And I'd say a third of the time I can't even understand what the person's saying, or they don't understand me. So it's like, and this is a big company. I mean, I have Aetna. I mean, Aetna's a big company. Craziness. So that's one of the good things. I mean, I have concierge with eBay. I don't call a lot, but usually I get stateside support. I don't know if that's part of the program or not, but you usually get somebody and they usually have more experienced people working in the concierge department as opposed to like the general customer service. Not that it's going to make a huge difference, but they usually seem a little more knowledgeable.
Well, I think to me it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
We're speaking the same language. I speak to people in other countries all the time. And even though they have a good grasp of the English language, and some of them graduated even from Penn State, and, a lot of local schools, there's still a language barrier.
Well, I'll bring this up, which you've used. I know Tommy Bernard would probably appreciate this. I try to keep this channel, G or PG, but you had told me you talk to people all around the world. And somebody was somebody from England. I was joking with you that your name's kind of odd. Randy means frisky.
Well, it actually means horny, but
well, I cleaned it up a little bit. Frisky, right?
Yeah, I mean, even though the English language is kind of universal and certainly is spoken in England and Australia and the United States, words don't mean the same thing. They don't even mean the same thing from one state to the next.
Well, we have flea market and or swap meets, but I don't understand why they're called flea markets or swap meets. And in the UK, they have car boot sales. So,
Yeah. Because
they call the trunk the boot. So it's the car boot. They lift their back of their trunk up or whatever. Yeah.
And the front is called the bonnet.
The bonnet, correct. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, we had touched I'm sorry, go ahead.
And if you go to prison in Australia and you do something wrong, you don't get thrown in the hole. You get put in the slot.
Okay.
And you get slotted.
Okay. We had discussed a little bit, and we had discussed the last show. I figured when I'm watching the clock, we've still got plenty of time, guys. So I'm not trying to, I'm not going to extend this real long, but I wanted to, bring up some more related topics to reselling. We discussed a little bit about the summer slowdown, and we discussed it the previous show, and you and I discussed it little pre-chat. Why don't you just remind people some of the things that they could possibly be doing, preparing, coming into Q4 and getting through that summer slowdown?
Well, you could smoke a joint. No, you don't do that. Well, maybe you do. I don't know.
They're closing a lot of places. I don't do that stuff. They're closing a lot of places in New Jersey. They've laid off a lot of people. There's one within 10 minutes from me, actually near the bins near me. They actually closed that facility, and that was a medical and a recreational use facility. They laid off all the people, and they laid off I think 150 people in the state so far. But anyway, that's don't get sidetracked.
I think the slow time of the year is the time when you want to clean up what you have, and really get rid of those piles of unlisted items. Get some activity on your store, so that whatever bots are crawling your store says, hey, something's going on over there. Let's push some people over there to see what's going on. I'm not a person who thinks that you should list 100 listings a day or whatever and only sell one or two. I don't think that's a good a business plan. Okay, but I think that instead of going out and continually buying, stay at home and get some of that stuff listed or get it thrown away.
Yeah.
Let's get up there and do something with it. If you have the time and you say things are slow, that's definitely a way that you can get caught up then.
Get organized, work through your cash pile, work through some of the things, Like I said, I'm looking around and I said, what's in my cash pile? What do I think is the most saleable? I'll get that listed first, and then that's what I've been doing.
I find the stuff that I find that is the least saleable are the things I put up, and I'm amazed at how quickly they sell.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had items that I threw in the corner for a year figuring I'm going to throw them in the trash because I don't think they're going to sell.
They're not saleable, and you list it and bang, they sell quickly. Yeah.
And they've gone like crazy. I mean, I went out and bought a couple of thousand units the other day, and I'm at the point where I have the ability now to list them within the weekend.
Yeah, you streamline your listing process. Yeah.
And it's just a matter of cutting off seconds. And the more you do it, the easier ways and the more organized you're going to be able to find yourself doing it. So by getting things not listed, you're really working against yourself. There are people out there who have good ideas that I've kind of gleaned from them, and maybe not everything and maybe not in the way that they do it, but nonetheless, I find my own ways of doing it, and it works for me. May not work for you, but nothing is a magic wand where you're going to find that $100 or $1,000 item for 29 cents.
Yeah, we all can't be Mike and find 2-cent CDs. Sell for $30. Good for him.
Yeah, and if you ask him, he'll tell you it is a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
It's not just a matter of finding a couple of golden CDs. Yeah, he's going to tell you about those, but he also has other ones that he's had to move probably 8 or 10 times.
I
We
think he
all
said he
have.
has like a couple thousand CDs he ended up purchasing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? For him, that works. That
Right.
doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It doesn't mean
So,
it's going to work for somebody else. You could try to do the exact same thing, and that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You got to choose what is good for you, not what's good for somebody else. You got to find your own way in life. There's one thing that's really important, one asset that's far greater than every other asset, and that's you. And how you treat that asset is how you're going to become successful. We look at people and go, well, they're gay or they're black or they're no, no, no. They're individuals. Okay, they have a talent. It's not the same talent as you. They have a talent. They have a worth, and that's what you got to see them as a worth as a person. You know, maybe Joe doesn't have any worth at all, but Joe's a plumber, and when things go screwy with your plumbing and there's water shooting all over your house, Joe's a real valuable asset. You know, I mean, he may only know two things, is what they say that plumbers know, that the hot is on the right and shit runs downhill. But when your house is screwing up, you want Joe there to fix it.
well, that's on the left. Okay. And all my sinks, except for the ones that have the central thing, and even then, I got still move it to the left.
I have, unfortunately, my bathroom is backwards. So
Okay, all right, that's why you say that. All right.
yeah, but nonetheless, it's pretty much true.
So you're saying, just to recap, is that when things are a little bit slower, work through your death pile, cash pile, get that listed, clean out the clutter. Maybe organize your inventory system. Maybe do inventory that you've been putting off. I mean, you and I and other resellers discuss all the time how listings are disappearing off the site. You have listings that you no longer have that were sold and they appear on your site. You have things that have already been sold. Not in inventory, or maybe unfortunately, maybe you lost something or one or two items and you can't find them. So, temporarily pull them down, but, do a partial inventory. I mean, I know some of the sellers have, 1,000, 2,000 items, which is, some people have that. So, maybe you do, 150 one week and 150 the next week, and et cetera, and just, the old saying, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Just kind of do it in little segments. But maybe when things are slow, maybe do your inventory, reorganize your inventory.
I continually find listings that I didn't even know I had.
Right.
That maybe I didn't even see them in 2 or 3 years. When you have 1,000 listings, it's easy for one or two to get lost.
Sure.
And I don't know how things work. As far as what happens when somebody puts an item in their cart and leaves it there. Maybe when I take the listing down because I no longer have it and they have it in their cart, maybe that's why they're able to order things that I no longer have.
Right.
I honestly do not know. However, I do know that I become more successful as I'm able to continually keep my eye on what I'm doing. If you lose interest in a site, it's time to get off the site. Go back later on, maybe. But your sales will go down if you lose interest in any of the sites that you sell on, because you're going to lose focus on them, and
that's very fair.
You're not going to care.
I've gotten frustrated because, and I know a lot of this is my fault, but also I'm, when I was outsourcing, I was sourcing commodities, and it's tough if you're not doing a lot of volume. You Cassini, the algorithm doesn't prefer your listings. I mean, if you have unusual, unique things, obviously, and people are searching for them, but if you're selling commodity and you're not listing on a regular basis and you're not doing any kind of volume, eBay says, okay, this person's just this, full-time seller. We're not going to bump their listings up. But you got to find, like I said, good products, take good pictures, good titles, and then price them right. And if you don't have all three, the odds in a highly competitive area are very difficult.
I mean, take a look at some of your listings sometime and say, hey, you know what? This photograph is really kind of crummy. Let me take it over again. It may totally revolutionize your store.
Yes.
I have things that haven't sold. I went in and took new photographs and did a new listing and tried to tweak some things. Sometimes I've actually increased the price because by decreasing the price, I'm decreasing the value of it. So maybe I'm undervaluing it and therefore creating a mindset of undervalue, and therefore they're not going to buy it. They don't think it's worth anything.
So perceived value, if it's priced low, is that the quality is not as good as if it's priced higher?
Sure. Something's wrong with that. It's too low.
Right.
How many times have you heard yourself saying that?
True. A couple things I wanted to bring up, guys, and this kind of reselling related. If you have any questions for Randy or if any other topics, I asked before on the last show we did about, talked a lot about the summer slowdown. I asked you guys if you have any, comments about what to do, posting them in the live stream chat or posting in the comments after. And, a couple people cooperated, but a lot of people didn't really have a lot of input on that. So I figured I would bring that up again while we're talking about the summer slowdown. If there's anything you guys want to put in the chat or possibly the comments afterwards. A couple things I wanted to bring up. Randy and I were talking about this pre-chat. I didn't know if I wanted to bring this up, but I am just this is a it's a commentary. I try to support other. I mean, I bought a lot of things from other eBay sellers and reselling friends online, and sometimes it bites me in the rear end. Like it ends up in my cash pile, so to speak. I don't list things. I bought a lot of jewelry over the years. And I know virtually nothing about jewelry, and I got to finagle through that and get some of the stuff listed because it's sitting here. It's not doing me any value. So anyway, long story short, Randy and I were talking about the end of the season and things, people are closing out things and putting things on clearance, and maybe there might be some opportunities. So I was doing some shopping for myself, and I really didn't see a lot of really good deals on, t-shirts and polo shirts and whatnot. And, due to my health, I've gained more weight than I care to admit. So anyway, so I go up a size. So I don't have a lot of tops and things of my size. So I'd order on eBay. I was looking at some things of my size on eBay, used clothing. And, hey, Roman, good to see you, my friend. So Randy and I were talking pre-chat. I ordered a Ralph Lauren polo shirt, and it was in an auction, which this person does a lot of. They sell mainly, all clothing store. They sell mainly men's polo shirts, and they do sell some women's clothing. So I bought a Ralph Lauren, polo shirt. I think I got it at a pretty good price, but I wasn't used to it, Beth. So anyway, I just want to bring to your attention, and we're all experienced resellers, and I'm not saying any of you do this, but I said something to Randy. I said, I don't know if I'm just a crotchety older man that I get like this, but they ship something, and this is. I mean, I have something else I want to show you guys, but basically this is like about a 6x9 eBay bag, and I have something else in there that I want to show you guys. Ask your opinion on that. But the person shipped my size polo shirt, which is, it's not a woman's small, and they folded it and folded it and folded it and folded it like 6 different times, and it was in like about an 7x9 poly bag. So we're talking, something like this big, basically the size of my head, and they folded the shirt up in it. So like Randy says, first impressions are very important. So I get this shirt out. It's like, holy cow, I thought I could probably just steam this thing and maybe even, I didn't expect it today. I thought I'd probably get it Monday. But when I saw that it was delivered, I said, oh, wow, I got an eBay notification it was delivered. I said, I can wear it for the show today. So I just take my steamer out. I looked at this thing. It must have had 300 wrinkles in it. So like Randy and I were discussing it. It's like, guys, my first impression was very negative about this seller. I mean, the quality looks good. I mean, I was going to wash it, and I'm probably going to have to iron it and steam it, and, which I understand when you buy used clothing, you should probably wash it anyway. But don't ship something that's 200 wrinkles in it. So it's the first impression when the buyer gets it. That's pretty much what you said too, right, Randy? I mean, spend the money and get larger poly bags, right?
They're not that expensive. I have a question that I want to ask everybody. How have they noticed a difference at all with the new ground advantage as opposed to first class? Is it about the same? Has it slowed down? Do you think it has some advantages, disadvantages?
Well, this shirt that I purchased, I mean, it was under £1, and they shipped it from North Carolina, Ground Advantage. They shipped it Thursday evening, and I received, like, right, they were shipping from North Carolina, and I'm in South Jersey, so it's not that far of a trip. But they shipped it Thursday, and I got it on Saturday. So that's pretty quick, in my opinion. Now, if I was shipping it, if they were shipping it to Texas or to California, obviously it would be, delayed. But I was kind of impressed how quickly it arrived. I was expecting it on Monday. So I figured, they shipped it Thursday, you got Friday, and it was here on Saturday. That's not too terrible. I was kind of impressed. Until I opened up the bag and saw the wrinkles. But, I mean, as far as the USPS service, I was impressed with.
Anybody else?
I don't see anything in the comments, Randy. Oh, by the way, just as a quick aside, Randy, you see on your you should see on your top right. Do you see like private comments, and do you see like comments up there as well? Do you have that tab now? Click on comments, see if that opens up the chat for you.
I have it open.
You have the chat open?
Yeah.
Okay, try typing something in the chat, because I've been complaining about this to StreamYard for a lot of years, and they finally just added where guests can type into the chat directly from StreamYard.
There you go.
Perfect. That works. Okay. At least StreamYard listens. Yeah, for many years, the guest was not able to type in the StreamYard chat. You had to open up another separate window, YouTube window, to type in the chat. So, or have another window open to monitor. This way, you can monitor the chat and type in the chat. So that's good. Were there any comments, guys, about the Ground Advantage shipping?
Yeah, Beth said she had one that was 1 day late, and they gave her a neutral. That's just a scumbag buyer.
Went on 1 day late this week. Customer gave me a neutral, saying the item was delivery, not late shipment. Other than that, no late ones. Okay.
I think that it's really wrong of eBay to promise delivery dates. I always did.
Yep.
And I find that they actually shortened them to what the actual promises, even from the post office.
Yeah, it's true.
That's just not right. I think, Michelle had a good point. I mean, maybe they shipped it in that smaller envelope, because if they wouldn't have, it would have gone over £1.
Yeah, but I mean, well, that's a possibility. But I mean, if you weigh these bags, I mean, something that's 6 by 8 as opposed to 8 by 10. I mean, you know how much poly bags weigh. I mean, a fraction of an ounce, but the possibility, Beth, Michelle. I don't think so, but I should probably weigh it just for bleeps and giggles. I should probably just weigh the bag and then weigh it in a normal size bag to see what it should weigh.
I would doubt it, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to bring up, guys, and I don't know how many of you actually sell this stuff. And again, talking about our cash pile, I'm going to put myself on full screen for a second here. I had gotten these, guys, last summer, and I've been, kind of hesitating listing it. Roman, or maybe you, or Scott, or something. Maybe you sell these type of things. They're brass belt buckles. Should not get my eyes. There we go. I'll focus. That's another tip, guys. If you do live streams, the lens wants to focus on your eyes. So that's one of them. Here's another one that's really, can't really tell the color on this one. This is more of a, it's not showing, it's showing as like a gray. But that one, I have about 5 or 6 of them. There's one that I actually thought was a Harley, but it's not. This is just a motorcycle. So this one is actually doesn't have any patina. But for those of you that sell those type of things, would you say it's best just to sell them as is and not treat it, or would you try to clean off the kind of the I guess the not the rusting, but the dulling. I guess I can't think of the proper terminology, but try to clean them off. So if there's anybody in the chat that is, Scott, if you sold that, or Roman, if you sold those, let me know your opinion on that. I think I've done a little research and people say you should probably not clean it off, but some people actually like the patina. You wouldn't clean it, Michelle?
No.
I guess it's an option. I could let the people. I'm sorry, Randy?
You could devalue it if it does have some value.
Right. So you would probably just sell them as is, even if it needed to be cleaned, you wouldn't clean it?
Right. If they want to clean it, they can clean it.
Right. That's what I thought. Okay, folks. Were there any other comments about what you're doing during the summer slowdown? I'll just read my little spiel. You want John? Okay. But include very good photos. Okay. That makes sense. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mike went on a cruise on the summer slowdown. That was a good idea.
I don't know. Mike's still in the chat. He hasn't commented much. He said he was actually working today, so maybe he's working on Saturday. Maybe he's working his full-time job, or he's working his reselling job. But he said he was working when he first posted in the chat. So are there any other comments, guys, about what you can do during the summer slowdown? I'll just do my little quick spiel here. And again, we have Randy in the chat, so I wanted to mention Randy's website. So again, guys, if you're getting value from the channel, please consider helping me offset the expenses. Buy me coffee, PayPal, Cash App, etc. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there's a link to Randy's website where you can buy delicious coffee, spices, and candy. Randy's kind enough to pay me a little commission if you guys buy anything at no cost to you guys. Just put AE when you register on Randy's site. And those links are in the description of the video. Again, if you just want to check out Randy's website as well, that link is in there. So if you want to check out, how Randy lists his products, you can do that. I forget. I don't think I've ever asked you this before online. Do you disclose your eBay store, or you want to keep that private?
No, it doesn't bother me.
You want
Michelle's Pantry.
Okay, so if you search for Michelle's Pantry, that's the name of Randy's eBay store, so you can see what Randy is selling. But yeah,
I actually don't sell everything that I sell on eBay. I think there are things for particular sites that work better on different sites. I'm not really a fan of cross-listing. Sell your things where they sell. You're not going to sell the same kind of things on Poshmark as you are on Mercari. There's 2 different buyers. You're not going to sell the same things on eBay as you're going to sell on Walmart. You're not going to sell the same things on Amazon as you're going to sell on eBay. They're 2 different platforms, and they got 2 different buyers, and they got basically 2 different kind of items that work. To me, it's too much stress to have to continually worry about selling on all different sites. For some people, it works. Like I said, just because something doesn't work for me doesn't mean that it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of cross-listing software out there, and some of it's better than others, and some of it's promoted heavily because the resellers make an affiliate, make money off of it. So there's Vendoo and there's List Perfectly and other apps that work well. And Mike talks about his app that he uses, but that's very pricey. I mean, it's great if you have your own doing the kind of item that Mike's doing, but it's kind of pricey for the. I mean, somebody like you, Randy, could probably. I know you use a different app than what he's using, right?
Yeah.
What was Mike using again? He was using he used apps and add-ons to it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't recall either, but yeah, it was. I know they advertise it quite a bit. It's maybe you guys in the chat can remember. I'm having a brain freeze, but he does very well. But Mike's doing a huge volume. I mean, I don't want to gander what he spends on his monthly fees, but it's got to be in the $400, $500, $600 a month he's spending just on the various
and what he's
that he
done
uses
is right for him.
Yes, absolutely.
And it works for him.
Yep.
That doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else.
True.
Every one of us is a little different in what we sell and the way that we sell things. So, you have to be able to configure what you're doing and the way you're doing it to become successful to you.
Right.
I sell different things than Mike. We do a lot of things very similar, and we collaborate and share interests in things. But I would hope that we benefit from each other, even though we do things differently.
Well, just I don't want to keep you guys much longer. I know we're getting a little long-winded here, but there was a couple items that Mike and another reselling person, another reseller, let's say that, I recommend me listing, and I listed on eBay, and I've had it for 3 years. I can't give it away. And my understanding, it sells like crazy on Walmart. And the funny thing, it's a Walmart item. But it's a supply and demand thing, and it runs out of stock at certain periods of time. And it sells very well in Walmart. I can't give it away on eBay, and I've reduced it, and I can't give it away. So that's the perfect example of what you're saying, Randy.
Yeah, I guess you got to kind of look at it like this, okay? Yeah, over your lifetime, you run into people that you just click with, and it works relationally with you. And
Right.
you run into people who you don't. Well, I think that's the same way with different platforms for different people. You know what? There's a lot of people that just click with eBay. That's fine. And there's a lot of people that don't. So whatever site you sell on, do it right and do it well.
Right. Very good, sir. Thank you for your time. I appreciate all those of you in the chat that came in for the live stream. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate it. Just if you have any comments about the summer slowdown, what you're doing, I appreciate that if you include it in the comments section of the video. And if you just remember to hit that like button before you leave, I would appreciate it. Okay, folks. See you next time. Take care now.